Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out the new modes for Empires of the Undergrowth. Now, it's important to stress that what you're looking at here is early access, so it goes without saying that everything that you're about to see is subject to change. The new modes that I'm talking about is the Freeplay AI colonies and the new Tug of War mode, and those are in beta right now, so they're not really fully fleshed out or available to the general public in early access, so they're even more rough around the edges. But I wanted to just share my thoughts on these two new modes. I wanted to share my live stream, however, there were some frame rate drops and some other issues. I don't know why, but certain games that I stream just, I don't know, OBS doesn't seem to like them very much, so I end up skipping frames and it looks ugly. So instead, I'm going to show you some snippets from that stream and talk about what I thought about these two new modes. Let's go ahead and start with the Tug of War, since it was the faster of the two. The Tug of War, you start off with a queen in your base, and the enemy has a queen in their base, and there's just a straight line between the two of you on the surface. All you're doing is you're putting down tiles of different ant types. So you can put down wood ants, you can put down anything from the leaf cutters, you can put down like just the black ants. There's even a slave maker ant, which I've never seen before. There's the trap jaws. And they will, it's sort of like an auto battler. Think of it as a MOBA, where you put these down, you have income coming in. You don't even have to gather food. You just have income coming in. And every so often, the eggs will hatch and spawn, and they'll just automatically go off toward the enemy base. And I guess the player that does that the best, or, you know, builds the right combination of ants compared to their opponent, will win. There were a couple of difficulty modes, easy, medium, hard, and impossible, I think it was. And I really like that mode. I kind of like that whole MOBA-style play, and I hope the developer takes that to the next level. The AI free play mode, on the other hand, was a bit disappointing. Even though you can change the difficulty on the free play part, the enemy colonies were incredibly difficult. Whenever you were setting up the free play, you could have up to 3 AI colonies. And you can even choose their color and how much they cheat. In fact, there was a drop down that said off and then underhanded, head start, corrupt, different settings like that. Unfortunately, there were no tooltips for that to tell me what each of those drop downs did. I tried underhanded to begin with, and right out of the gate, the enemy had 100 plus ants. As soon as I left my nest, they were on the surface. They were hundreds of them gathering food, and within within 5 minutes, they were sending wave after wave after wave after wave of ants at my base, and there was no way I could keep up. So I quit that within, 5-10 minutes of playing. I tried again. I put the drop down on off. I got a little farther on that. It seemed like the enemy had a slower start. That being said, he had 2 or 3 respawnable food sources right next to his base, whether they be fish or those plants that, will give you food over time. I had nothing. So he was consistently getting food, and I'm sitting there scrounging. There's a little maggot over there. I guess I'll get 15 food off of him. And I was just growing very slowly because of that. And even then, it seemed like once I got a group of 50 ants, I had 40 melee and 10 mortar ants. He was able to send 5 ants repeatedly after me and wear me down to the point where I was just running out of food. I couldn't keep up. He was winning that war of attrition. He had hundreds of ants going after other food sources and then sending 3 to 5 level 3 ants after me, consistently wearing me down to the point where I couldn't do anything, and eventually, again, I lost. So I don't think that the AI free play mode is balanced right now. I think it needs a big, I think it needs to be adjusted. First of all, I think that you and your opponent need starting food. It sucks. The RNG sucks right now, and that's a problem with general free play as well. Even without enemy AI colonies, I have always complained that you have a certain amount of RNG when you spawn. Sometimes there'll be a lot of food on the surface right next to your base, whether it be fish or respawnable food sources, and sometimes you won't. Sometimes there will be 2 spiders hanging around outside your entrance, and there's no way that you can get to the surface and get food to grow your colony. It's a very slow thing. I think both colonies need food next to their starting entrances so that they equally have they have an equal chance of developing appropriately. I also want to see the spawns around the entrances minimized so that it's not possible for a spider to be right on the entrance as soon as you leave your base for the first time. That just ruins everything. I mean, there's no way around it. You can't create another entrance anywhere else like you could in SimAnt. So you're kind of stuck with, oh, well, there's a spider, so I have to wait for him to wander away. And by that time, the difficulty's ramping up, assuming you've got it set on increase with, ramping. Anyway. So, again, there's some balancing issues, and I do think the enemy even cheats, even with the slider on off, just because, again, he was able to send... I was killing enemies in the thousands, almost. Well, maybe not thousands, but hundreds. And he was still coming. Like, he was not slowing down, and he was able to upgrade his ants to level 2 and level 3, whereas I couldn't because I had to just keep replacing my casualties. So, I think the AI free play mode has promise right now, but I don't think it's anywhere near balanced, and it's frustrating at the moment. I would not come back to it unless it got balanced. I am interested, though, in seeing how the different aspects of free play affect it. For example, let's say you turn on the difficulty increase based on your growth, scale with colony, I think it is. I want to see if you actually grow your colony to a decent size, will the enemy have a hard time with all of those spiders and crickets on the surface, or will he be able to blow through them like butter? Attack waves, I'm curious to see. Will the attack waves go after your opponent too, or do they only go after you? Again, there's just a lot of different cool things I would like to try with free play, but I simply can't right now because of the balancing. So yeah, I at least want to tell you guys about it and share my experiences with it. My advice is opt into the beta and give the Tug of War a try because that is fun, but the AI colonies, just not so much, unfortunately. But hopefully that'll change as early access develops and as these beta branches develop. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.